so many of these Native American tribes, like from when you started from Tennessee and going around, is there a significant difference from tribe to tribe in the way they do things or in the way they approach life?
Whenever I ask that question, they are all vehemently saying very, very different. I've been talking to them, asking them, suppose your neighboring tribe, they speak, will you understand the language? It seems they won't understand. It's that different. It's quite incredible.
Oh.
Though ethnically they all look the same, they're very different in language, culture, their religion, everything. Very, very different. The rituals are very different. Actually, Sitting Bull, who was one of the most known Lakota chief, before the Custer War, the Little Bighorn War happened, he gave 24 flesh offerings from both his arms. And after seeing that, probably his mother, who was a wise woman, said, you should not go to war. You should stay here and take care of the tribe, let the young people go. So the young people went, probably led, not really led, but one important person was Crazy Horse, who won that war. That is one of the big victories in the Native American war history.
Yeah, you mentioned it before.
We went to that place where Custer was killed and the Custer National Park, all that place.
Yeah, I think we spoke when you were there.
In every culture there are painful things in the past, but there are lots of painful things out here. It's just I'm seeing how to inspire them to strategize their future, not by confrontation with the mainstream, but by integrating into the mainstream. They need to build their future, otherwise they will stay this way invisible. Let's see what we can do.
Sadhguru is so inspired by Crazy Horse and his bravery that he visited the Crazy Horse Memorial again, located in the sacred Black Hills of South Dakota. He even shared a photo of his visit on Instagram, honoring the spirit of this legendary Lakota warrior. It is not hard to see why someone like Sadhguru would feel drawn to such a powerful symbol, because Crazy Horse was more than a warrior. He was a force of nature, a defender of his people, and a soul who never surrendered. His life, death, and legacy have become a monument, quite literally, carved into the face of a mountain.
In the heart of South Dakota's Black Hills, a colossal figure is slowly emerging from solid granite, a warrior returning in stone. This is the story of Crazy Horse, the legendary Lakota leader, and the extraordinary memorial that bears his name. Born around 1840 near Rapid Creek, Crazy Horse, originally called Curly due to his wavy hair, was raised in the traditional ways of the Oglala Lakota people. From a young age, he showed signs of spiritual depth and courage. He underwent intense vision quests and embraced a life of humility and purpose. Eventually, he earned his father's name, Thaswankwitko, meaning his horse is crazy, after proving himself in battle. Unlike many warriors of his time, Crazy Horse wore no elaborate war paint or headdress. He rode into battle with a single eagle feather, a stone behind his ear, and a streak of lightning down his face, believing these sacred elements would protect him. His bravery, sharp instincts, and unmatched horsemanship earned him the role of shirt wearer, a position reserved for leaders of exceptional character. One of his earliest victories came in 1866 at the Fetterman Fight, near Fort Phil Kearny in Wyoming, where he and other leaders like Red Cloud lured 80 U.S. soldiers into an ambush and wiped them out completely. It was one of the U.S. Army's worst defeats at the time. He continued to lead tactical raids and resistance against U.S. expansion into Lakota territory. His most iconic act of leadership came in 1876, during the Great Sioux War, when he led a force of Lakota, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors to victory against General George Custer's 7th Cavalry at the Battle of the Little Bighorn, or as the Lakota call it, the Battle of the Greasy Grass. Crazy Horse's swift flanking maneuver is credited with outsmarting Custer's forces and turning the tide of the battle. The U.S. forces were annihilated, and Custer himself was killed, marking it as one of the greatest native victories in American history. But that victory came at a cost. The U.S. government responded with overwhelming force. By 1877, Crazy Horse found himself surrounded by relentless military campaigns, loss of buffalo herds, and starvation among his people. Under a flag of truce, he agreed to go to Fort Robinson, Nebraska, in hopes of negotiating peace. However, a misunderstanding, possibly due to mistranslations, led to a confrontation. During a struggle, he was stabbed with a bayonet by a soldier. He died shortly after. His burial site remains a guarded secret to this day, hidden by his people to protect his spirit. But Crazy Horse had once told his people, "I will return in stone." That vision began to take shape decades later. In 1946, Chief Standing Bear, a Lakota elder, approached Polish-American sculptor Korczak Ziolkowski to create a monument not just to Crazy Horse, but to honor the spirit of all Native Americans. When they discovered that Korczak was born on the very day Crazy Horse died, September 6, 31 years apart, it was seen as destiny. In 1947, Korczak moved to the Black Hills, living in a tent with no electricity, no water, and no funding. He hand-built roads and carved out a life using the trees from the land. On June 3, 1948, the first blast of the mountain removed only 10 tons of rock. But the vision was enormous, a sculpture 563 feet high and 641 feet long, showing Crazy Horse riding his horse and pointing toward his ancestral lands, symbolizing the land that was taken from his people. Korczak worked with just a hammer drill, dynamite, and pure determination, climbing 741 steps daily, carrying heavy equipment on his back. He knew he would never live to see it finished. But he passed the dream on to his family. Today, the Crazy Horse Memorial is still under construction. There's no government funding, only donations and visitor support. In 1998, Crazy Horse's face was completed and unveiled. In 2023, after decades of labor, the left hand was also shaped and revealed. Work is now focused on the outstretched arm and the horse's head and body, a massive undertaking that may take generations to complete. A new tower crane, improved technology, and a passionate team are helping advance the work, but this is no ordinary monument. It is a living legacy, shaped by the Ziolkowski family, volunteers, and the will of a people. Korczak's guiding words still echo on the mountain: "Go slowly so you do it right." This is more than a statue. It is a towering symbol of resistance, honor, and identity. Carved into sacred Lakota land, the Crazy Horse Memorial is a defiant tribute to history, and a promise to future generations that the spirit of Native America will never be forgotten. Crazy Horse is indeed returning, not in flesh, but in granite, and his story is still being written.